Well, hello and welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and welcome to the Jesus Enrique Rosas Show on episode 81. We are live through YouTube, Rumble, and on X. And you will also be able to download and listen on the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. So no way that you can miss my show. And the best way to... we were talking about Hot Pockets. We will be talking about Hot Pockets today, and some of you don't know what are Hot Pockets. I don't get it. That should be one of the United States' most important exports worldwide. We're going to be talking about Hot Pockets. Remember that the best way to support my channel, very easy, like and subscribe, tell your friends, tell your families, share my shows, my videos in your WhatsApp groups, in your messages, and on Facebook as well. Remember that I had to come back to Facebook, so let's make the most out of it. Although I know that I have a quality audience in which I'm not gonna elaborate on that, but you know that you are the best. You are the best audience. And also remember that you can download my 100 body language tips in the description of this video, and you will be subscribed to my awesome emails as well. Also, we have featured the best live chat in the history of humankind. I haven't fixed my design still, but here we are, split screen, because you are part of this show as well. All your comments, I'm keeping an eye on them. I try to keep an eye on your comments at the same time that I'm speaking, covering these topics. Nice comments, great comments. I'm gonna highlight them, and maybe even we can spark a conversation from that. That has happened so many times. We've had awesome conversations sparked from the live chat. So we are just ready to begin. We are ready to begin. I thought Hot Pockets was something inappropriate. And Veronica, how come you don't know what Hot Pockets are? We're gonna be talking about a bit about food. If you haven't eaten, some of you haven't had lunch yet, you're gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer right now, because I'm gonna show you. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and just so you know, this is my love language. Do you know that there's this book? There are 5 love languages, and one is words of reassurance, gifts, something more physical. No, this is my love language. This is my love language. So you already know what I want for tomorrow. You already know what I want for tomorrow. And one thing, there's always something that I'm missing. It is my trusty clock. Where's my clock? Here's my clock. Oh, you're eating lunch right now, Paige. Well, bon appetit, and let's get ready. We're ready to begin. But not so cold. My throat, my voice is very much in top form today. So we can have a full show with no problem whatsoever. Full show with no problem whatsoever, and we can move on to today's first topic. And it's today's first topic is that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been officially confirmed as the one who is going to make America healthy again. This was a very close call, very close call, very close voting, 52 to 48, 52 to 48. Of course, Mitch McConnell voted against RFK Jr. Not surprising. We're gonna let's watch this clip shared by American Values, AVPAC US. I saw that it was a nice montage.
In my advocacy, I've often disturbed the status quo by asking uncomfortable questions. And I'm not going to apologize for that. We can't be a strong nation unless we're first a healthy people. I want to thank President Trump for entrusting me to deliver on his promise to make America healthy again. 77 million Americans delivered a mandate to do just that, due in part to his embrace and elevation of the Make America Healthy Again movement. That movement, led largely by Maha moms from every state, this is one of the most powerful and transcendent movements I've ever seen. The nation is ready for change and recognizes that this is a unique inflection moment. I promised President Trump I will do everything in my power to put the health of America back on track. To the tens of millions of parents across America, especially the moms, thank you.
Has been confirmed. This is so amazing. This is historic in terms of health, in terms of both that vicious cycle, or this thing that the poison that has been fed to Americans for so long, and that big pharma comes and gives you the cure, not exactly the cure, but the chronic inflammation. Only chronic inflammation can just downstream cause so many ailments, so many illnesses, and yeah, that is a bad. It's not bad business. It's in fact good business, but very bad for people's health. So big food, big pharma are already. They know what's coming. They know what's coming, and that's why we need to, pay tribute to the end of Hot Pockets that most probably will be banned tomorrow. Also the Maruchan, the Maruchan noodle soup, the instant Maruchan noodle soup. All that will be banned. No, the Hot Pockets is like a sandwich. It's like a burrito that you heat on your microwave, and they have the is the kind of food that has a list of more than 100 ingredients, and more than, and like 90% of those ingredients you can barely read. So yeah, that is the kind of things that they're still going to be sold in the United States, of course, but I'm pretty sure that these initiatives we're gonna see less and less of this. Great, really great for Bobby Kennedy to be confirmed. We are still waiting for Kash Patel. Kash Patel has moved forward. And that is a good thing. Maybe I will be wrong in the end. Maybe I will. That happens to say that. I don't know, I give him a 20% odds of being confirmed. If he's confirmed, then it is said that he's going to release the Epstein list on day one. Now, it's the thing is that I don't think that nobody's going to be surprised about what is in that list in any way. Because there have been so many rumors, we know so many names already, we know so many, things that point to people. But between that and the Diddy tapes, we're gonna have a lot of fun, but without the Hot Pockets. But speaking seriously, I think this is a huge step, because it's like they say, there's a Chinese saying that says that if you have lost money, you in fact have not lost anything at all. You really have not lost anything. If you have lost health, you have actually lost something. And we're talking about health right now. Now, if you lose your peace, then you have lost everything. But let's focus on the health, and that is something that is basic, fundamental to make any country, not only the United States. I'm really happy because of the fact that the United States is spearheading all these initiatives, and especially the thing that it's gonna be so great in terms of people essentially getting back their mental acuity, physicality, everything. Okay, it's not gonna be overnight, of course, but it's a great advantage. In that sense, and we're gonna be talking about Europe today as well. Europe has a great advantage over the United States. It's that the regulations, yeah, there's a ton of regulations in Europe, and but two things work really well. The data protection in many ways protect you. It's really solid in my opinion, and how all those additives are already forbidden in the EU. So that's for America. This is gonna be a great step in the right direction. I'm sorry for big food. I really hope that they learn to make healthy food profitable. Again, and with all the advances in robotics and automations that we are gonna be looking in the following years, and with all the advancement in automations to producing healthy food, well, maybe we will see some kind of synergy between all this. But the first step was cleaning the house. Sort of what Elon Musk is doing right now with Dodge has been a shitstorm for the Democrats because they somehow don't like the fact of somebody cleaning the all this big spending in the United States. It's like, that's so bad. Oh, that we knew. It's like Chuck Schumer. We're going to talk about Chuck Schumer as well. It's like Chuck Schumer said, "Oh yeah, we know that there's big spending, but there's you cannot throw the baby with the bathwater. But it's like there's so much bathwater that there's barely any baby left. Maybe we can just cherry pick the baby and just throw all the rest." Let's see. I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. Yeah, it's Melanie. It's like making healthy stuff profitable. That would be a great goal, because you know that all these companies always want to just cut costs, and cutting costs usually means that, well, you're going to add plastics to this, and all this crisis of microplastics in everything, and that should be taken care of, because that in turn affects fertility big time. So we have all these angles. All this has been happening, and we're expecting this to change anytime soon. And speaking of somebody say that Chuck Schumer looked terrified, we're gonna talk about another guy that is terrified, and I don't like to talk about him much, but it is necessary right now, because Zelensky is terrified as well. Let's say he backpedaled, he chickened out. Everything was ready. All these conversations were ready. The rare earth materials, minerals, I don't know, the rare earth stuff was ready. It was like this negotiation was ready, and all of a sudden, he chickened out. Ukraine, Zelensky, emboldened by European pro-war rhetoric, has reneged on his agreement to sign the rare earth metals deal. Treasury Secretary Besant traveled to Kyiv to get it signed, and Zelensky refused to sign despite his commitment to Trump. Why would you do something like this? Why would you do something like this when everything was ready? So it was checking by audio to make sure that everything was nice. Zelensky refused to sign the agreement on rare earth metals proposed by U.S. Treasury Secretary Besant. The only thing that happened in the last 24 hours was, I guess that this is what was changed, this post by Donald Trump on Truth Social. Remember that Truth Social is Donald Trump's actual social media, and it is usually replicated on Twitter or X. That was yesterday, I just had a lengthy and highly productive phone call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. You know that Zelensky already didn't like this. Zelensky already didn't like this. We discussed Ukraine, the Middle East, energy, artificial intelligence, the power of the dollar, and various other subjects. We both reflected on the great history of our nations and the fact that we fought so successfully together in World War II, remembering that Russia lost tens of millions of people and we, likewise, lost so many. Now, many people are having a meltdown over this. Oh, how is Trump just talking friendly with Putin, who is a killer, who is a murderer, who is this, such and such? Yeah, but you want to get the things done. You want to get things done. You want to negotiate, and stop the blood spilling, because essentially Ukraine's, let's say, men have been wiped out thoroughly, so that has to stop. We each talked about the strengths of our respective nations and the great benefit that we will someday have in working together. But first, as we both agreed, we want to stop the millions of deaths taking place in the war with Russia and Ukraine. President Putin even used my very strong campaign motto of common sense. I will have to copyright that, because we are the common sense crusaders, and now Trump and Putin are using it. Why? I will copyright that. I'm going to copyright common sense. Common sense copyrighted. We both believe very strongly in it. We agreed to work together very closely, including visiting each other's nations. We have also agreed to have our respective teams to start negotiations immediately, and we will begin by calling President Zelensky. Maybe Zelensky was not picking up the call. The call of Ukraine to inform him of the conversation, something which I will be doing right now. I have asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of the CIA John Ratcliffe, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Ambassador and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to lead the negotiations, which I feel strongly will be successful. But of course, you needed Zelensky as well. And Zelensky, it seems that he didn't like the proposal. Millions of people have died in a war that would not have happened if I were president, but it did happen, so it must end. No more lives should be lost. I want to thank President Putin for his time and effort with respect to this call, and for the release yesterday of Mark Fogel, a wonderful man that I personally greeted last night at the White House. I believe this effort will lead to a successful conclusion, hopefully soon. But well, right now it has been stalled. And this was only 24 hours ago when Zelensky tweeted himself, I had a meeting with Secretary Scott Bessent, his first international visit, which was to Ukraine. We value our partnership with the United States, are grateful, yada, 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 strive to expand our joint capabilities, especially in security matters. We received the U.S. vision for deepening our cooperation, but we want to stop the war. We want to stop this war, and he had agreed to sign the rare earth metals negotiation. Like, let's all this money, but not only money, of course, but all this weaponry and that has been granted by the United States government. You remember during all the disastrous Biden administration. Then all of a sudden he backs down. He is not interested in that. So, well, it's again, there are other angles to this. There was this video. I don't know if I'm going to play it, but this video was in response to that call with Trump. I had a long and detailed conversation with President Trump. I appreciate his genuine interest in our shared opportunities and how we can bring about real peace together. We discussed many aspects, diplomatic, military, and economic, and President Trump informed me about what Putin told him. We believe that America's strength, together with Ukraine and all our partners, is enough to push Russia to peace. Okay, the words, it's interesting that in the words he says push Russia to peace. At no point he says we can bring about real peace together. But he doesn't use the words end the war. All right, I find it odd. Maybe I'm just a bit picky about that, because the easiest way to say what you want to say is to end the war, which is what you really want. That's what you ultimately want. But there's also this stuff that Pete Hegseth. Zelensky reported to be on suicide watch. Oh, Chebureki, man. Zelensky reported to be on suicide watch after U.S. Secretary of Defense says no NATO and no U.S. troops for Ukraine, and no Article 5 for any forces deployed to Ukraine as peacekeepers. Russia officially just won the pissing match with NATO. So maybe that's another thing that Zelensky didn't like. I'm going to play just a few seconds of the clip just to check his body language, just in case.
Дорогі українці, українки,
You're gonna, so you can see it's in Ukrainian, so I'm going to zoom in for the captions.
непростий сьогодні день. Щойно провів засідання РНБО, рішення ухвалене, буде опубліковане завтра. Захищаємо нашу державу та відновлюємо справедливість. Кожен, хто знищував національну безпеку України та допомагав Росії, кожен повинен відповідати. Мільярди, які були зароблені фактично продажем України, українських інтересів, української безпеки, повинні бути заблоковані і повинні працювати на захист України і українців. І це буде обов'язково.
Okay, so my just a very quick impression is that there's some stalls, there's some challenges, there's some obstacles to the negotiation. So this might take a while. It's not gonna be like it's not gonna be this week. This is not gonna be this week. This guy doesn't look like he wants to get this sorted out, which should be as quickly as possible because of that, because of the amount of blood that has been spilled, and they have the opportunity and they have the means with the rare earth metals negotiation. He could do that today, but he's not going to do it. What does he want? What does he want? I don't know, but we will be finding out I know that we will finding out in the following days. I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. So, I don't know why he wants to keep at this. What is he to win out of this? Veronica is from Ukraine. He does not want the war to get resolved, and that's what I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh, what is the point what is to gain from this? From all the blood that has been spilled, that shouldn't have happened in the first place. I am not the let's say the best to speak about the proxy war. We know that this was mostly a proxy war for interests. I'm messing up my chat here, but see how this develops in the following days. I will keep an eye on this. I just I absolutely needed to talk about that topic. It was important to be addressed. Let me see. There's one topic here that's jumped in. Make sure that I check here everything is in place before we move forward. Subtitles from audio. There's a couple of things, let's say outrageous things that we're gonna cover today. I'm gonna jump right this. We're gonna be talking about insanity. We're gonna be talking about more insanity, and part of that insanity is this one. Representative Jan Schakowsky suggests that the reason more women don't go into manufacturing is because the name manufacturing sounds like a guy. Again, I always have a problem. Maybe I have tried to curate, to clean up, to make sure that my X timeline, my Twitter timeline, is as clean as possible, in the sense that I don't get misinformation or crazy stuff. Usually lips of TikTok is they just post the clips as is, and they, let's say that they caption the tweets as is, but it's something like, did she really say that? I mean, are we living these days of such kind of satire that this was actually said? Let's watch.
Yesterday, I met with a manufacturing company, but they also are engaged in getting young people more engaged in manufacturing. So I asked them, so how many of those students that are signing up and want to do this, how many are women? And they said, well, I know there's at least 13% or something. It was a low number. And you had mentioned trying to engage more women in manufacturing. I'm just wondering if just the name manufacturing sounds like a guy.
Oh, now I get it. Now I get it. Manufacturing. What the I just down on me. No. This is what this is the are these the politicians that are leading the, is this a conversation? You know that yesterday we had all those clowns that we're talking like, oh yeah, we need a trans sanctuary city. You were, so many of you were on yesterday's live stream. By the way, just to mention that, remember that by the end of that video was a kid speaking. The kid was being effectively exploited by these crazy people. And by the way, I'm going to mention this interesting fact. I uploaded that section of yesterday's show to YouTube, and YouTube told me, hey, I have a problem with this section. And effectively, it was the kid being exploited. I just edited that part out, re-uploaded our discussion of those clowns. This lady doesn't look like a clown, but what she says, what is coming out of her mouth, it's in the same category. It's clownish. So I'm just gonna say that she fits. If the show fits, if you say nonsensical things, well, it's gonna be. But just that we had that. You remember that I was just triggered of they put in a kid talking in behalf of trans people. It was unacceptable. And YouTube also had a problem. YouTube didn't have a problem with the edit without the kid. But the things that we are, the kind of insanity that we're facing. It's like this morning that I open X and I see this guy. Deportation does, in fact, it's Tony of Bay City. Deportation does, in fact, damage the dignity of the person being deported, just as being in prison damages the dignity of the person who has committed a crime. So people like Tony of Bay City, deportation does in fact damage the dignity of the person being deported. Tony, I want to ask a question. Why are people deported in the first place? Maybe they did something wrong? Just as being in prison damages the dignity of the person who has committed a crime. Oh, so being in prison damages the dignity of the person who has committed the crime. So what do you suggest if people that commit crimes are not in prison? Oh, no, but this is no. Maybe if the person hadn't committed the crime in the first place, then their dignity wouldn't be jeopardized. These people are real. These people are real. I had to ask the question, is this satire? Is this satire? Tell me it's satire. Must be satire, right? That's why I tell you that when this lady says, you know, maybe manufacturing sounds like a guy thing.
And they said, well, I know there's at least 13% or something. It was a low number. And you had mentioned trying to engage more women in manufacturing. I'm just wondering if just the name manufacturing sounds like a guy.
Like a guy. Like a guy. By the way, the words of the crazy Tony of Bay City, you know, the dignity was in a quote tweet to Matt Walsh, in which Matt Walsh was talking about the letter that the Pope, which, by the way, you know that I come from a Catholic background. I still consider myself Catholicish, full-on Christian, Catholicish, and people were criticizing the Pope for this open letter. I should talk about that letter, by the way. And some were saying you should not criticize the Pope as well. You should not criticize the Pope because that divides the church. And I would say, oh well, that's how cults work. In fact, so Matt Walsh was saying the Pope's letter on immigration is pure nonsense. Some Catholics are soft-pedaling it, claiming that he said nothing explicitly, objectively, or false. But he did. He said deportation damages dignity. So that's what the Pope, Bergoglio, said. That is false and outrageously so. Dignity is damaged by the destruction of our national sovereignty. Meanwhile, the Pope, as many point out, lives behind walls himself. From behind the walls, he declares that we shouldn't have any and that the defense of our nation on its identity and sovereignty is morally problematic. He's flat out wrong and doing great harm with blather like this. I mean, this is this topic was like a mishmash, but understand that it's a bit hard for me to keep up with opinions, headlines, and it's not simply Tony from San Francisco saying something crazy on X. No, it's Congress representatives, it's the Pope saying nonsense, and they expect us, you know, regular humans to put up with that. So it's not only Americans, it's sometimes citizens of the world at large that they expect us to remain silent because, oh no, you cannot criticize the head of your church. No, well, I for one, I will keep on criticizing everyone, no matter who, if what they say is bollocks or nonsense or BS, because that's how we roll in here. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is a DEI Pope. It's this Pope is a full-on Marxist. This Pope is full-on Marxist, and there's no way to redeem this Pope. It's a commie Pope. And you may say, oh, Jesus, you cannot say that. Well, I can actually say that. This is my show, and I can say it. You could say, oh, you're criticizing somebody from another religion. Okay, maybe that, if it goes against morals or common sense, I could still criticize them. And I think I have the background. I come from the right background to say that Pope, no. That Pope is a plant. That Pope is a plant. It's not that I really care about where the church goes from there. I really hope that they realize the mistake of picking a Pope like that. But still, Que sera, sera. It's not really my business, but it's sad that somebody who is the head of a church, who is the church of so many people all over the world, speaks in those terms. You know, the gaslighting, you know, that's something that there's little things that, there are very few things that I despise more than religion-based gaslighting and manipulation, and that is religion-based emotional manipulation. Oh, you're a bad Christian, you're a bad Catholic if you don't embrace unfettered immigration, and you're a bad Christian if you enforce deportation. No, that doesn't work like that. That doesn't work like that. But in all cases, that is my opinion. That is my opinion. You can have your own opinion. So, yeah, anyway, que sera, sera. Que sera, sera. But there are even worse things that we need to worry about. I need to talk about one country that is rather close to my heart, and I need to tell the truth about this country, which is Germany. It is very painful for me to talk about Germany in these terms, but I need to say a couple truths about this. Sometimes maybe I have to apologize, because just 24 hours ago I was quote unquote joking about Germany. Not really joking, because the things that some judges in Germany are doing to some offenders of a nature that, you know, that is the most heinous nature, that makes me say that, well, I sometimes say that the UK is in trouble, but then I look to Germany and I say, no, well, the UK still has a chance, because, well, Germany is, in my opinion, beyond saving. By this point, you might already know that there was this incident that a driver plowed into a crowd in Munich, Germany, at least 20 injured. I think that it was up to 28. The last numbers that I heard, some children in there. The suspect, a 24-year-old Afghan asylum seeker, is in custody. Germany, you have 4 problems. Okay, I tweeted this. Germany is essentially lost. I have to say, I'm really sad to say this. Berlin used to be one of my favorite cities in the world. You know that I love Berlin's history, architecture. I have a couple souvenirs. I have a sentimental value with them, especially the history of all that the city has gone through. But right now, there's a big problem. I think the greatest problem that Germany has, the biggest problem, it's not really immigration. It's deeper than that. It's guilt. I have said this a couple times in my shows, but I'm going to state it very bluntly right now. There's this self-imposed guilt that has lasted decades after the vegan painter was, let's say, that there's nothing left of the vegan painter himself, and let's say that his legacy is just sparks here and there, but shouldn't be much of a big deal, especially in this era of humanity. But it's like this guilt, this collective guilt that they have self-imposed, that don't let Germans move forward. And the worst part is that this has expanded to all Europe. Like, we don't want anything that remotely is patriotic or nationalist. No, we cannot do that here. And in fact, I would be surprised if in any country in Europe you are, let's say, free, quote unquote, to just wave the flag of your country, like in United States, right? A big difference. Like in the United States, you put the American flag even in your underwear because you're so proud of your country, and that is great. But no, you cannot be proud of your country in Germany. You cannot do that. We don't do that here. And that is a big problem. Because you essentially, you should be proud of your country. And I can understand, because being proud of your country can be weaponized by people. In my country, in Venezuela, is that we were okay. We were okay with, symbols like the flag until Hugo Chavez came and weaponized the flag as something that, no, it's like, at some point we realized that the flag was like some kind of Chavista symbol, which it's our flag. It's the Venezuela's flag. It's not the Chavista flag, but it was Chavistas who were more related to that. So I can understand where that comes from, but you have to realize that self-imposed guilt is having this effect on everything else. And that self-imposed guilt is the thing that makes Germans and other countries, maybe it's the case of your country, maybe it's the case of Canada as well. I wouldn't say that Canada's conditions are vastly different, of course. You let your country be invaded. And we know that this comes from Angela Merkel in a big way. I tweeted, Germany is lost between the unresolved guilt from World War II, the absurd anti-nuclear stance. And you remember that they literally destroyed their last nuclear plant reactors in 2023. Because, they somehow, I don't know, it's like they are in this suicide spiral that I cannot understand how a country can do this. The indiscriminate open borders and the grueling torture of every entrepreneur. Well, ask any entrepreneur in Europe. This is not only in Germany. In Europe, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a German entrepreneur, in Germany, you're essentially F up. If you are a French entrepreneur in France, you're essentially F up. Some countries more than others, but so many regulations, and especially one of the worst things that they are, which is the tall poppy syndrome. Tall poppy syndrome is something that happens in many countries. It happens in Japan, by the way, a lot. Japan has its own problems. Japan suffers from tall poppy syndrome. Australia suffers from tall poppy syndrome. What is tall poppy syndrome? Did you have a field of poppies, right? I don't know how to pronounce that. Sounds like little dogs. No, poppies, the flowers. You have a field of poppies, and you have a poppy that stands out. Then that poppy that stands out is gonna be cut. Okay. So essentially, if you stand out in society, you will be metaphorically beheaded. Metaphorically. That's the problem. So you cannot even try to excel, because the moment that you begin to excel, no, you cannot do that. That is why do you want more? Why do you want to excel? Why do you want to do that? Why would you do that way? Again, it happens in Japan as well, but Japan is let's say, the philosophy towards the community and towards your nation is much different. You cannot have a more nationalist country than Japan. That is the big difference. You cannot. You simply. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's the United States and Japan. Those are examples of extreme nationalism. Yeah, it's my pronunciation. A field of poppies. Poppies, and that is the difference. And that's why I say that. That's why I say that Germany is essentially lost. And I have to tell you, I have to tell you, if you are in Germany, you might be okay with you can't be okay with what's going on. Okay, you want to save your country, but sometimes you need to look at things in a, let's say, with a clear-headed way, and realize that maybe you want to fight for your country, you don't want to leave your country. But I thought the same, but sometimes you have to make decisions because you cannot do it by yourself, and you are more important. Your family is more important. Sometimes you have to realize, okay, my country is important, but my family and myself, we are more important. I need to make the decision. So just food for thought. Again, your mileage may vary, your decisions may vary, but again, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. Never easy decisions. I always get responses like, oh yeah, but if everybody leaves, then who's going to stay behind to fight for the country? And my remark is the same when I talk about Venezuela. Okay, I thought at some point I can fight inside of Venezuela and try to raise my voice for Venezuela, but I realized that the enemy was so big that I'm gonna disappear. I would say that I was gonna get myself killed. That is a best case scenario in Venezuela, if you get yourself killed, because the worst case scenario is to disappear. And by disappeared, I mean disappear. You are disappeared and your family doesn't ever know about you ever again. They will not know if you died. They will not know if you are alive or where or in which conditions. I think that is the worst possible case scenario for in all cases. But of course, Germany is not Venezuela. It's two different cases. And I can understand that you can say, "Oh, I'm going to stay in my country." Somebody has to fight for my country. But my question is always going to be, how are you exactly fighting? How are you fighting? Staying behind. How is the fight? Are you protesting in the streets? Are you trying to do something to register people to vote? Which in itself, people are so tired of the same old politics everywhere, that's why Keir Starmer won in the UK, because people were so fed up with politics, and that's why Keir Starmer's ministry, he being prime minister, that is not actually, it's legal, but it's not legitimated because he was elected by a minority. That doesn't make sense. It is legal, but it's not legitimate. It's a bit, I don't know if I'm using the exact legal word, but that is F up. Again, sometimes you need to realize, and this is going to hurt some of you as well. Sometimes we lie to ourselves saying, "Oh, I'm going to stay in this situation because I'm going to fight for this." And that could be a country, and that could be a relationship as well. And it's because you don't want to leave the relationship. And we could be talking about a toxic relationship. Maybe you say, "I'm going to stay in this toxic relationship because I will fight for my relationship, my marriage," or so. But maybe it's an actual toxic relationship, and you have to leave. And leaving and getting out of there is the right thing to do. Maybe, just maybe, is the right thing to do to give yourself some space to grow, to find more peaceful lands. And if you have the possibility, if you have the opportunity, absolutely, that is something that you have to do. Okay, I'm going to use the analogy of a toxic relationship that, of course, you were not born into that relationship. You were born into your country, and maybe you want to fight for your country. Sometimes you have to realize that the fight is not worth it. And I'm not saying that it's not worth it for the country itself. It is absolutely worth it for your country. But you see left and right, and you see that people are not willing to do it. They're just willing to accept their fate. So you're staying behind to fight for your country, but you see everyone around you like accepting their fate, accepting that their country is being invaded, accepting that, criticizing you for wanting to fund a startup or something, or make reality an idea that you have, and you realize that every step that you want to make forwards and onwards, something better for you, have a better life for you, it's so hard that you say, what are you doing? What are you doing? Again, so many of my audience is from the United States, and it also, again, this applies to so many instances. But sometimes it has happened to me as well. We lie to ourselves. We have this tremendous ability. We have like the mind is a great tool, and we can use it to improve our situation, to thrive, right? But we can also use it to stay in the same place. If we can, I will just to try to lie to myself so I can stay. I don't have to do anything. I'm just to stay here fighting for it. No, it's like changing your situation requires courage, requires action, requires consequences, and requires being responsible of your actions. It's easier to just stay in the toxic circumstances because you essentially are doing things a bit, you're being more, what is the word for that? Passive about the situation. Getting out of the situation requires that you be active, and being active requires action on your part, energy, decision, courage, responsibility. That isn't comfortable. That isn't comfortable for everybody, but sometimes has to be done. Again, I like to speak in vague terms sometimes because maybe the German example does not apply to you. Maybe the country example does not apply to you. It would be great. Sometimes in a personal level can apply to you. Maybe in a professional level it can apply to you. Maybe you are at a job that you absolutely despise, and you think that you have no other option. Again, this still your responsibility if you are going to stay in a toxic relationship, if you're going to stay at a toxic workplace, if you're going to stay at a toxic country. I'm sad to say that could be a thing. Not to mention that you can be in a toxic family. Don't get me started with that one. But this is the kind of thing that we need to talk about. We need to reflect about these topics, and we need to understand that you come first, and you and your family come first. So what are you going to do about it? That is the question. Again, these are not easy topics to cover. These are not easy topics to talk about, but are necessary topics. Very necessary topics. Let me see. We had another a couple topics in here. Okay, I'm going to try to make things a bit more lighter, right? Lighter. Okay, this is interesting. Full Irish breakfast. Bargaining with yourself is a clue that you're in denial and not prioritizing yourself. Yeah. I like it. Thank you, Skis Spivak. Just became a member. Remember that you can become a member of my channel. Right next to the subscribe button on YouTube, you see a join button that you can become a member. And all members of any level, there are 5 levels. All members of any level have access to all my exclusive members-only live streams. I sometimes do them once or twice a week. Again, I have to, these days I have to take care of my my voice, so I had to kick back on the amount of streaming hours that I have. If it's for me, I could do 4 or 5 hours. Sometimes, some days I've been like 4 hours because I've been 2 hours of a show and then close to 2 hours with the members only live stream. But I had to take things easy. I had to take things easy. But let's try to switch to a lighter topic. Let's switch to a lighter topic. No, I'm not gonna talk about Megan today. I'm not gonna talk about Megan today. But we need to talk about a lighter topic, something that is happening. Much lighter topic. And the lighter topic that I wanted to talk about is about this lady that, well, she just popped up more than 500,000 views on my timeline, and she was proud of being a fresh PhD. She just got her PhD about after years of research and doing all her stuff. And we just had a little problem here, is that that all these apps that when you take a picture or when you share something to the internet, they flip. They essentially flip. Remember that you have to make sure that the images that you analyze are not flipped. And in this case, it was flipped. And we had a little trouble reading what was the PhD about. I had a little problem with that. But well, at least PhD completed. Happy to say I have officially completed my doctorate at MOAR University. And more than 88,000 words. Almost 300 pages. More than 200 participants, 32 tables, 4 poems, 3 years, 1 very tired researcher, Dr. Garrett Panding. And again, was this like this mystery that everybody wanted to see? It's easy, right? Just reading backwards. But to make things much easier, one of my favorite accounts on X took the trouble to take a snapshot of this, and so we could read the actual title of the research. And the research is The Architecture of Whiteness: How Institutional Whiteness Shapes Academic Careers in the UK. What? Vittorio, big salute to you, my friend. Burn it all to the ground. What is this? What is this? And then that there was a bit of a backlash with the title. Again, I'm going to repeat it. The Architecture of Whiteness: How Institutional Whiteness, whatever that means, Shapes Academic Careers in the UK. All right. My critiques on whiteness and white supremacy have recently been deemed harmful and problematic and misrepresentative. And this was a while ago, like 1 year ago already. Whilst my racist treatment within a university has not been deemed harmful, problematic, and misrepresentative, this, folks, is the web of whiteness. I mean, almost 90,000 words written for this. Oh my God! And I'm gonna jump. Let's jump right to the comments, please. Let's jump right to the comments. The Chodinator, I'm sure you're not going to regret that tattoo. Oh, the tattoo is from the Legend of Zelda, by the way. There's 3/4. I think this comes all the way from Twilight Princess, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it's come from Zelda. Whatever. Why do you dye your hair blonde? I read that PhD. Why? Yeah, it's like, Why do you want to look whitish? Congratulations on becoming a fully qualified racist, says Murphy. Good thing you finished right before USAID funding is gone. But good luck. I think all the DEI departments are going by a different name now. Stephanie Tyler, LOLOLOLOL. Yeah, this is basically the reaction that this people should have. So is there a reason your picture is flipped? Are you not proud that your doctorate is, zooms in, the architecture of white? And yeah, but why do you make it so hard? Why do you make it so hard to read the title of your thesis? That is suspicious. That's nice, but can you just hand me the letter? Oh no, and I'm not gonna read this one. This is way too insane. I'm just going to zoom in on that so you can read it and say your cats must be so proud of you. Oh, that is so hard on cat ladies. That is so hard on cat ladies. No, why? Rihanna Garrett, this is her bio on X. PhD researcher in geographies of spatial relations. Geographies of spatial relations. Geographies of spatial relations. Is this a real thing? Geographies of spatial relations. Spatial relations. I could talk about spatial relations. You know that in body language we have proxemics, which is the interaction, the distance at which we interact, right? This is a real thing. I spent 15 minutes of my life confirming that this is a real person and this is a real doctorate. This is a real university. All this is real. All this is real. This is not satire. We are living at a time that we are so close to not understand what is going on in our timeline. And I am trying to be your guide in this sea of nonsense. I mean, what? Mixed race researcher, BAMA, Union of Exeter, Active Together founder, she, her, pronouns in bio, of course. Pronouns in bio is so 2024, Rihanna. Pronouns in bio is so 2024. That is so passé. You have to wake up, smell the coffee. See, the other guy said, pass me the latte. Love, I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. But well, anyway. And of course, her X or Twitter banner is as DEI as you can imagine, of course. But not gonna elaborate on that. And she was featured. She was featured on some articles right after the U.S. elections. She was featured in there. And what did she say? Rihanna Garrett, how race has played into the campaign of the United States of America, where Donald Trump, that racist, misogynist, and xenophobe, and usually orange guy, or mostly orange guy, orange man bad, won. How is it possible? Rihanna Garrett, PhD researcher and global coordinator of the Critical Mixed Race Studies Executive Board at Loughborough University, says that Trump's campaign has been littered with attempts to weaponize the multiracial heritage of his Democrat opponent Kamala Harris. Much of this has been a dog whistle attempt to stir up his own base, partly with fairly blatant appeals to latent feelings of racism, but also as a tool to position Harris as deceiving and untrustworthy by apparently blurring and shifting her own background. But you know that she was Indian first, and then she was black, and then when she was a mix of both of things. Oh, well, in August, not long after Harris took over the Democrat ticket from Biden, Trump appeared at the National Association of Black Journalists conference when he wrongfully claimed that Harris was changing her identity, stating, "I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?" And you remember he backlash for that yeah, she's both things at the same time. So yeah, it's I need to highlight this again. I need to highlight this again, that this is a real person with a real thesis, and congratulations, because that is quite an achievement. A PhD is quite an achievement. The thing is, geographical spatial studies. I rest my case. I just rest my case. I would like to know, what do you think about geographical spatial studies in the comments? Oh my God. This is, we gotta make her famous. Let's make her famous. Well, she wanted to share her PhD. Let's make her famous. It's like that PhD of that other lady that was about the smell of minorities or something like that. The smell of minorities, why minorities smell a certain way. Did you say, what, is this real? And it was real. Was real. At least that one did not flip the image. Did not flip the image on her post. So it was easier to read her PhD title right off the gate. That was way easier. My God, that's it was so bad. That was so bad. Let me check my X Pro. Sure. Make sure that everything, and keeping an eye on everything, and maybe we have a couple more topics here. Today was going to be maybe not a shortish show by any means, but as I had the issue is that in all right, we needed to talk about Wendy Williams. So many of you were because of you wanted the Wendy Williams. Oh, I almost forgot that. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. I went for the Germany topic, which was quite dense, and then I said, well, I have to lighten up things a bit. But then we need to talk about Wendy Williams. Some of you don't know who Wendy Williams is, so we're gonna be clearing that up. But this is a situation that looks like Britney Spears and her conservatorship, and we know how that went. J.E. May, love the color of the tie today. What's that color called? This is a tricky one. I'm going to try to use my super light here. This is a tricky one because this is I like these colors that are between blue and green. This is like, it is not that how do you say that?
Turquoise.
Turquoise, that is the British pronunciation, that the American is?
Turquoise.
Turquoise. It is kind of turquoise, teal. Yeah, Miss Black Cat, you are spot on. It's teal. It's a darkish teal. Yeah, Christy C also nailed it. It is teal. You know, I like those colors that are kind of ambiguous between blue and green. Aquamarine, turquoise, whatever is name.
Turquoise.
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 Turquoise. Turquoise.
Turquoise.
Turquoise. Turquoise. Teal. I like those colors. I don't know. It's and they go well with my cream jacket. Megan will be proud. I'm not gonna be talking about Megan today, but she will be proud that this is not beige, by the way. This is not beige. Like a deep sea teal. Yeah, Kevin, you are spot on. Like a deep sea teal. That is it will be a great way. Cerulean is also one of my, it's not one of my favorite colors, but I remember when I studied art and design, I used cerulean a lot. I loved to paint with cerulean, by the way. Let's move. Let's keep going. Let's keep going and talk about Wendy Williams. We not need to address what is going on with Wendy Williams. So what is going on with Wendy Williams? I'm going to paraphrase. I'm going to quote what Don Luker is saying. Breaking: Hollywood show host Wendy Williams was seen panicking and crying from behind the glass of her room at an assisted living facility. This was really concerning. It's like if you know that she is she has this degeneration. Is that the name? He has had mental issues. No, those are not the words. I'm going to find the words shortly. Panicking and crying from behind the glass of her room at an assisted living facility. She claims she's in an abusive guardianship and being treated like a prisoner in newly released TMZ footage. Wendy Williams is locked in a room. Investigators say Wendy may have been misdiagnosed because her condition has significantly improved since becoming sober. And that is great. Let's watch the video. Remember, trigger warning for what we are about to watch.
Wendy Williams is locked in a room in an assisted living facility in New York.
Yeah, let's see, so we can see the captions and Wendy as well.
That's her. The only way I could interview her was to have a camera in the street because we can't get a camera in. She can't really have any visitors. She cannot go outside. She's been out twice in the last 30 days. She has no internet. She, and I think rightly says, she feels like a prisoner.
Are you allowed to go out?
No. In the last 30 days, I went out twice.
She is in a guardianship. And I got to tell you, Lauren.
You remember that is a, I don't know exactly what is the difference between a guardianship and a conservatorship, but it seems that somebody is in charge of you and your finances and, well, everything that pertains to your treatment as well. That's what's happening with Britney Spears back in the day. You might argue that the Free Britney movement did not have the outcome that we were expecting, but even so, she's free right now. And yeah, she has been through so much. I certainly hope that Britney is healing. I hope that Wendy is doesn't go as long, because you remember that how long was Britney's conservatorship? It was like 10 years or something like that, right? It was really long.
If you saw the Lifetime documentary on her when she was deep into alcohol a couple of years ago, it made sense to have a guardianship. Wendy is sober now. She is fine. I have spoken with her for hours and hours, as have many others. And everybody comes up with the same conclusion. She's back to the old Wendy. Yet, she's not only in a guardianship, it's a guardianship that has essentially locked her up.
Now, this is my question. If somebody is keeping her locked in, how do they allow her to have this calls? I don't know. Maybe she found a way to be able to talk to people outside with a friend with a borrowed phone,
and thrown away the key. She has been diagnosed with something called frontotemporal dementia.
Yeah, it's a frontotemporal dementia. She was diagnosed with. Allegedly.
That's what Bruce Willis has. That condition never gets better. It only gets worse. There is a similar diagnosis called alcohol-induced dementia. That can get better. Wendy is an alcoholic, and she was deep into alcohol. But the fact is, when you look at her 2 years ago, she's gotten better. Mm-hmm. There's no question. And was this a misdiagnosis? And if so, she's going to get.
Well, you remember that Britney also went through that kind of stuff. People misdiagnosing her, which made things even worse and more difficult to get her out of that.
A reevaluation. But for some reason, The Guardian said, we don't think the diagnosis is going to change. How can The Guardian say that? The Guardians only talk to her like once a month. And I got to tell you, I've talked to her for hours and hours and hours over the last month. And this woman is better. She needs a sober coach. Personally, I don't think she needs a guardian. This is a country where you're supposed to have freedom unless there's something really extreme, and she's not there.
Yeah, the problem is how to catalog that really extreme. And essentially when you have money, you know that there are going to be vultures, and those vultures can come from anywhere. When the rumors about Wendy Williams first started a few years ago, word on the street was that her son was dipping into her accounts recklessly. Seems like people forgot that part before the conservatorship or the guardianship. So there's this video as well.
Your money. Who was unduly influencing you? Who is the person?
Okay, let's see. We don't have captions. We're going to generate the captions really quickly. So this is, one thing is for certain. I'm glad that she's sober now and she has overcome that part, because that's one of the most destructive things that can happen. Addiction and alcohol. Alcohol is so ubiquitous, it's everywhere, it's something social, it's something that is so hard to get away from. I'm glad that she's better in that way.
Who was unduly influencing you? Who is the person that was doing this?
Thank you. Listen, my son is a really good person. You know what? Oh, God, I'm not going to cry about that. Oh, I'm sorry for cursing. Look, my son is a good person, but at this point, he is a horrible person to me. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's the way he moves with other people. You know what I'm saying? And what's going on with these other people at my apartment in Miami? What are you doing? Oh, you spent on what? And what is going on at Wells Fargo?
There was a situation where Kevin says he wanted to rent a boat for his birthday for $1,500 and ended up getting a boat that rented out for $113,000.
So this, again, it's I'm sad to say that sometimes you just have to follow the money. You see that there are always all this interest, all those things happening in people's lives. In Britney, it was the same. I remember, I still have all those videos. I remember that video is out there. I think it was one of the best videos that I made. It was on Britney's brother. He was interviewed, and you could see his smug face. That it was no big deal. She's better in the conservatorship, and he was talking about the amount of money that Britney had made. And I remember, you know, that I sometimes when I say billions, to reinforce the things, I remember that comes from that interview when he says billions with a B. I know it was the interviewer who couldn't believe that they were talking about billions that she had made only with her perfume. And again, it's sad how sometimes family can turn against you. And we were talking about that when we were talking about Germany. Sometimes you can even have a toxic family. And you might say, how are you going to abandon your family? How are you going to leave your family? Sometimes you absolutely have to. You have no option. Sometimes it's a toxic relationship. Sometimes it's a toxic country. Sometimes it's a toxic workplace. Sometimes that's a toxic family. Sadly, sometimes it's like that. And you needed to see the warning signs. And maybe you feel vulnerable. Maybe you fall addicted to alcohol, and that is one of the worst positions to be, because that leaves you vulnerable to these vultures, and it can get really, really bad, pretty bad. I would like to know what you think about this. in the comments. Again, it's like this situations. I think that so many of us have been in situations. You know that I try to share with you as much as I can, and you know that I'm very private about my life. I try in all cases to share in the way that you can avoid making my own mistakes. I made mistakes, but I always had to get out of stuff, let's say. I could say that in so many ways it was easier for me. In other ways, it was not that easier for me. In terms of addiction, I had a really bad video game addiction at some point. It sounds silly, but I have described that a couple times here. I've been very lucky. I've never had addiction to any substance or alcohol or any drugs. I've always been. I really how to say this? My social circles were both really limited and really vanilla, so I was not really exposed to any hard stuff. But alcohol, I'm really lucky to say that I could have fell into that if not was because I really did not like to drink. I mean, it's you know that I don't know when was the last time I had a drink. It was maybe 1 year and a half. It's like why you used to talk about Japanese whiskey. I remember that at some point I did one live stream. We were talking about Megan. I served myself one of what I liked Japanese whiskey, and I drank some Japanese whiskey. Some of you were okay with that. Some of you didn't like it. I thought of no big deal about that, and really I didn't drink much. But we all can fall addicted to something, and alcohol, again, it's something that it's so dangerous because it's everywhere, and it's something that sometimes it's so hard to avoid, and you absolutely need to avoid. So please drink responsibly. And in the topic of toxic stuff, try to stay as far away as you can from any toxic stuff. Oh yeah, you're talking also about emotional eating. That is one of the things. That is the kind of things that doesn't look that bad. Like a hot pocket in the middle of the night. What is the problem? I'm not hurt. This is not alcohol. This is not Coke. This is not baby powder. This is not anything illegal. But yes, emotional eating is the sign of something that is creeping right below your consciousness, and it's bugging you, and you have to solve that. You have to solve it. Again, that's something that happens to me. It still happens. That I had to fight that. I have absolutely no issues with alcohol, but I needed to be very mindful of the emotional eating. If you want to know how I have dealt with emotional eating, you have to create a habit of basically eating the same thing at the same time every day. Sadly, that is the only thing that works. It's boring. It can get boring, but it's the only thing that at least has worked for me. What is the other thing that I was going to mention? Oh yeah, you say that I sometimes play video games, and I used to be a video game addict. What happened? Well, at some point I stopped playing video games, like 2 years or something like that. I reformed myself. I slowly realized that, well, I just needed let's say some kind of video games to just let my mind work in other ways. And every now and then I say, well, I'm going to test if I'm addicted to video games. And I say, I'm going to just go without video games, cold turkey, 1 month. And I see that I can go 1 month or 2 months without any video games. So I'm not addicted. I can play every now and then. Alcohol, very different. If you happen to be an alcoholic and you went through all the 12 steps and you overcame it, you know that that's zero. That's zero. That's zero. No amount of alcohol. Okay, this is safe. No. It's zero. That's the thing. Again, there's so many things. Thank you, Kate O, for sharing your experience. So many of you are sharing your experience in the comments. I'm trying to keep an eye on all your comments, but it's a bit hard. Coffee as well. Yeah, coffee can be. There can be also always of everything. Can be too much. Twin Star Galactica, you like puzzles to keep your brain focused on all the. Did someone say caffeine? Yes. I try not to judge people. For example, I used to mock a lot of about weed, especially about the smell. It's uncomfortable, especially how the stuff that people smoke nowadays smell on the street. Like you have the smell the street, smells like weed. That is, I remember one time I tweeted, it was like 2 years ago. I deleted, I have wiped out my Twitter account many times, and I tweeted that tweet is not there anymore. In which I tweeted, I don't know why people say that weed makes you relax, because every time I smell that shit, I feel like I want to punch people in the face. And that went lightly viral. That went, a hit tweet. And yes, it was 90% of people going ballistic on me. Went full ballistic. Oh, you cannot do a bit like that. Oh, I understand. Maybe you are using it CBD for medical reasons and all that stuff. I understand, but no, I don't like if I'm, for example, in some cities of Europe, by the way, and I have that stench. And I go, my God, no! As I go full berserk mode. I know I really want to punch people in the face. It's something I go full berserk mode. It's like in Doom, berserk mode. That is, yeah, that's what the smell of weed makes me. Coffee. You have to be careful with coffee. You can overdo coffee as well. See what else do we have here? I'm going to let me see what else we have there. I'm gonna check. I haven't checked my X Pro dashboard. Let me check what else, if there are any breaking news here. You know that there's something I wanted to comment, is that I want to make sure, I want to grow to grow this show in some ways. Some things are coming, especially how I pick the topics. There's one topic, in fact, there's one topic you sometimes say, hey, we could. I always joke about the pancakes. You remember my pancake joke? Some of you remember my pancake joke. The pancake joke is a real thing. It's a real test of who really like to watch my show. Where is it? Okay, right here. We'll talk about this. The pancake joke. We have one more topic that I'm going to talk about. The pancake joke is, you know that you have a real loyal audience if I upload a video of myself making pancakes and you want to watch me making pancakes. Now, there's one thing that you have to understand. I will not, at least in the foreseeable future, going to upload a video of myself making pancakes. Maybe I will do at some point. I will never discard it. Maybe as part of a bet or a challenge. Maybe if I get to 1 million, when I get to 1 million subscribers, I will record a short video of myself making pancakes. Why not? But the pancake is something. It was like an allegory of something that has nothing to do with my channel. I don't speak about food. Well, today we salute the Hot Pockets. RIP Hot Pockets will be banned in the United States and worldwide tomorrow, 12 a.m. But no, seriously, it's like it's an allegory of when you have such a loyal audience and such a great audience in which you could talk about anything or do anything and you will still watch the video. And that was, I remember that I came up with the pancake example. And maybe, yeah, 1 million subscribers, I will make the pancake or waffles as well. Could be with waffles, pancakes, empanadas, or something. Not promising anything, but I already said that, right? You're gonna remind me the pancakes when we get to 1 million subscribers. You're gonna remind me the pancakes. Yeah, you 100%. You're gonna remind me, Jesus. We want to see you making pancakes. But this topic is not about pancakes, but it's another topic that I want to talk about. Oh, I almost there's something wrong here. All right. It's about this something wrong. All right. This topic is not about pancakes, but AI. And you know that AI is so hot nowadays, and we know hot as pancakes, pun intended. But we need to talk about the AI and Sam Altman. I don't trust this guy. I really don't trust this guy. Every time I see his body language, and we're going to see his body language right now, you know, Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, makers of ChatGPT, which is hands down the most popular AI product in the world right now. Basically, they are spearheading the AI race. Grok version 3 from Elon Musk is about to be released anytime. Anytime we are going to see the capabilities of Grok version 3. Right now, we are going to see Sam Altman talking about this, the AI wars. And there's this feud which is half corporate, half personal between Sam Altman and Elon Musk. And I talk about this. I've noticed that maybe you are not that interested in this topic, but I talk about this because I know that it is a relevant topic. I address it because I deem it important for everybody. It's something that is going to eventually affect us. And the sooner that we realize the rules of the game in terms of AI, the better. So let's watch this clip of Sam Altman talking about Elon Musk.
Sam, should you have taken Elon's offer?
You refused $1 billion for Elon Musk. What do you want to say to Elon Musk?
Received what from him?
Almost $100 billion, right?
The company is not for sale. Neither is the mission. We're happy to buy Twitter if you want to talk about that.
Sam,
We're happy to buy Twitter.
Yeah? Sam, how can we trust your models are safe? Not much talk about safety here at the summit. How can you reassure people your models are safe?
You know, that's something that two things are spoken. Who gets to get the bigger slice of the pie? I already made a video and I explained what Elon Musk was offering for $97 billion for the non-profit stake on OpenAI's company. So, and essentially would be controlling the for-profit part of the company. So Sam Altman says that it is not for sale, but it's like throwing in a wrench in the negotiations. We know that if OpenAI goes full on for profit, Sam Altman is going to be very rich. So there's a huge interest in Sam Altman of getting that done. And Elon Musk doesn't want that just because, well, the essence of OpenAI, it's in the name. OpenAI is something for the public, for humanity. So that's why Elon Musk decided to, well, I'm going to do this myself and build a Grok. And the other thing is, the word that was said here.
Your models are safe.
If the models that you're using are safe in the sense of safety nowadays is when you use an AI, if the output, whatever the output says, is gonna be reliable. Because I've told you about hallucinations in which you ask ChatGPT something and ChatGPT absolutely hallucinates something that is not true, that is a blatant lie. And only if you know what a topic is about and you know it's a lie and you call ChatGPT, you're lying, that you're making that up, ChatGPT apologizes. Oh, I'm sorry, you are so right, and such and such. In fact, you could ask ChatGPT about any records in the Old West when, I don't know, some people in the Old West could watch flying cows were, gone extinct by, all the gold rush of the Old West somehow made this flying cows go extinct. And ChatGPT might tell you, well, I have no records that cows ever fly. You can like stress ChatGPT and convince ChatGPT that, yeah, essentially they did exist. And then ask ChatGPT, how can you believe that? Because that is not true. And ChatGPT will go with you. That is the problem. That is, we have, let's say, a great tool in our hands that at the same time can be really dangerous. Not because it's going to be in the wrong hands, but it's going to be in hands that don't know how to use them. So how do we know that people, because I am like an AI researcher in the sense that I like to experiment with them, see what they're capable of. But the general public is not going to have the time or the patience or anything to experiment with them. They just want them to work. Well, what if you ask ChatGPT something and ChatGPT tells you a lie and you just go with the lie and you act upon essentially a lie? That is not safe. And I don't trust this guy at the helm of the biggest AI product nowadays. So no, I don't trust this guy.
Safety here at the summit. How can you reassure people your models are safe?
Model safety track record. I mean, I think you have to look at what we've done. This summit obviously is not as focused on safety. The previous ones have been, but it's an integral part of everything we do at the work.
They call you a scam.
And do you think
Batman? Did you see it?
This calls a lot of people a lot of names. This is not a serious person.
Can you afford your own company now, though? It does raise that question. Can you afford to buy OpenAI off the non-profit now?
So that's can you afford to buy the stake once Elon Musk has offered $97 billion for that part of that non-profit stake? Nobody really knew. This is the thing. This is what Elon did. Nobody really knew what was the valuation of the non-profit side of OpenAI. We know that OpenAI as a whole has a valuation between $200 and $300 billion with a B. which is a lot. But nobody knew what was the valuation of the non-profit stake of the company. So what essentially Elon Musk did was to make an offer to put a price to that. So make it more complicated. So now it's like Sam Altman would have to move everything to, well, let's say make a better offer. Make a better offer. So Elon Musk was essentially trying to all the control of OpenAI not being on a single person. Okay, that's what Elon Musk was doing essentially.
The board will decide what to do there. Like the nonprofit will continue as a very, very strong thing. The mission is really important, and we're just, we're totally focused on making sure we preserve that.
And how worried are you about China?
What, are we worried about China? We'd like to work with China. I think.
Do you think your government would let you do that?
Do I know that for sure? No. Should we try as hard as we can? Absolutely, yes. I think that's really.
I don't see. Just because privacy concerns, how could ChatGPT or any AI product in the United States work with China? Because, well, let's say that the CCP, you know how they treat the data. We know all the stuff with the TikTok. If you have TikTok, if you use TikTok, you know that they are using, let's say they are borrowing your data essentially for whatever means they want. But it's that simple. Is that we know that ChatGPT gets to know you like if it was a therapist. Like it retains memory of your queries, so it can, let's say, answer you better to other scenarios. So again, it's a lot of power, it's a lot of data, it's a lot of privacy, our privacy, and it's something that if you add the capability of looking through a camera to you and even sensing your voice tone and all the stuff, these technologies can get to know you even better than yourself. This can be a thing. Okay, I have predicted this. This is not science fiction. This is not a drill. This can literally happen, and we need to be ready for that. The question is, who gets the biggest slice of the pie? Who gets to be crowned the king of AI? And if that person has the principles and the morals to, well, act for the sake of humanity, or for the safety of humanity, and not for full profit. I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. Crazy things, but we cannot stop. Things that we cannot stop will happen in a way. Anyway, you cannot stop that. What we can do is try to adapt to it. And again, I always tell people, yeah, there are amazing tools, but they can get things horribly wrong. So today has been a great day. Let me highlight your super chats. Some super chats I haven't highlighted. I apologize. Jada Z, maybe Kennedy will inspire Trump to stop drinking soda and start pumping iron. I don't think that. You know that Trump is kind of a mutant. His fuel is McDonald's and Diet Coke. And he sleeps like 3 or 4 hours a night. He's a different breed. He's literally a mutant. Trump is a mutant. It doesn't apply. His health habits do not apply for the normal humans. Jada C as well. Thank you for your super chat. Gaza has 1 trillion cubic feet of natural discovered in 2000 natural gas. I mean, Ukraine also has loads of natural gas and iron ore. Yes, that is important as well. You know that it all boils down to that. What is the rich? Nowadays that I would say that natural gas is important, but also how we seize the power of the atom with more nuclear plants. We need more nuclear. More of that. Seymour, $4.99. Thank you for your super chat. Seymour, $4.99. Hello from Texas. I love the show. Thank you, Seymour. I appreciate that. I try to make the best show on Earth and soon on the solar system. When I in the future I will make my first live stream from Mars. The Battle Language Guy from Mars. See. Kate, please tomorrow consider covering Kennedy on Laura Ingraham tonight. I will. I mean, I want to write it down. Let me see. Start. Kennedy. Write it down. Gonna do it. And Margie, thank you for your super sticker. Thank you, Margie. Appreciate your super sticker as well. Let me see all your comments, and we are ready to say goodbye for today. Remember that you can download my 100 body language tips in the description of this video, and you will be subscribed to my awesome emails. I should be writing more emails soon, but I have been focusing on the show itself. And of course, like and subscribe, which is free, and join as a member if you want. We have members exclusive shows every now and then. My Battle Language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Battle Language Guy, and until we meet tomorrow in episode 82, remember the most important words: much love and bliss. Take care. Be safe. I love every single one of you. Bye-bye.